Oh, right. Well, there's definitely a movie I watched recently that's very odd. It's a weird viewing, and Stanley Kubrick, the actual legend, is. How could you be surprised that such a legend would make such a evoking and thought-provoking and strange movie, utterly strange movie in every sense or fashion? Now, Eyes Wide Shut is a type of movie that kind of it really draws you in with its intensity and its intrigue and interest, but it really leaves you asking a lot of questions in the end, and it really has some great twists and turns in it. Now, most of the movie is like entirely a porno, so I mean, you're in for that you know, if you know what you're getting when you go into it. It is certainly a movie that has some absolutely graphic scenes in it, including tons of Nicole Kidman's body, which is pretty nice to look at, but there's a lot more than that in this movie. Now, the obvious correlations that there's going to use in this movie towards is the whole Epstein thing. It really has this secret cabal of obviously rich people who have this secret club that do weird ass shit and, often involves perverse and twisted things. So, I mean, it's an interesting movie like that. And, I mean, what can't be said about Tom Cruise's performance in this? He's an absolute beast of an actor, and I love Tom Cruise, and this is him in his absolute element. But it has an interesting look to the movie. I mean, it's got a lot of '90s, late '90s, New York looks to it. You're inside these stores and you're inside these apartments and different places and bars and stuff, and it's very well done because it transports you kind of to this place that is completely foreign to most people. This like urban uh, uh, playground, so to speak, that Tom Cruise has to run about in. So the movie's got a very interesting sets. The movie's got a very interesting premise, and the movie has some really interesting twists and turns and stuff, is including some extremely graphic scenes. That is just all the depravity that you can imagine. But I think that the most important part of the movie is how one man's kind of quest to deviancy can leave him down some extremely dark paths, and I think that's pretty much what Kubrick was trying to get at. He's one who likes to make these pretty obvious statements about the human experience, and you can just tell that Tom Cruise's character is just like he's just going down that path. He's thinking about cheating with the on that threesome in the beginning, and then and then he comes across this club with his friend, and he goes out looking and just gets a random prostitute but doesn't actually do anything with her. It's these weird twists and turns that you really think that Kubrick, he was on to something for sure here. And this is the this is the quintessential story of many downfalls of what men and any people do, is that they get into these twisted circles, and it leads them down a path of destruction. Obviously, one of the most uh, haunting moments in the movie is when he actually gets into the cult house and he has all these cultists. It's really weird. The way that the masks look are very odd, and the whole thing just leaves you feeling nasty inside. And like it's actually kind of like spooky, so it kind of like doubles as a horror movie. But I actually didn't get too freaked out about the part at the end where they're like hunting after him, because you gotta think that like yeah, the, you'd have to find a way to get away from these people somehow. They may be ultra rich and powerful, but I mean, if you stayed strapped, you could probably be safe from whatever these us. But I guess the idea was that they had like this secret cabal that could get you at any point, and kind of scares Tom Cruise into just kind of stopping looking back into this. But yeah, I know it's a very interesting movie, very thought provoking. I think what it generally tries to tell you is that there's various sides to this, and there's different angles and deep corners of the world that these things can exist. And the correlations between this and the Epstein stuff is like definitely this is that, like, what is it, Bohemian Grove type stuff. Is that, there are rich people that, they have nothing better to do with their time but to invest in this weird shit. The greatest part about the movie is that it really does show this like side of New York late 90s subculture that, you can see. I think that they made up a whole bunch of the sets. It wasn't actually in New York. They actually just built these like outdoor New York settings. So they really like did a lot of this, like, let's make it look like New York thing. And the at the end in the toy store is just a fabulous look into, uh, late 20th century New York. It's beautiful, beautifully done. And it's like, it's really, really, really an interesting movie. But like I said, it's extremely thought provoking, it's extremely dark, and it's classic Kubrick through and through by being just a wacky trip. But yeah, Tom Cruise nails it. It's a good movie. It's definitely worth seeing because of the legacy that it has. It's Kubrick's. Just, you'd think he'd end on, he would have ended on Endgame or something, like Avengers Endgame level of thing, but he ended on just such a weird, out of place movie in the world, and it's just like, it's just weird. Just a weirdly sexual movie, and you have to hand it to Kubrick, is that he is one who is just a master of filmmaking, because he can draw you in and he can make you think about. And like, there's even a scene when the two of Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman are smoking weed together in their apartment. It's just so random. It's so random. It's so weird, and it's just so unexpected. All the events that happen, but definitely, definitely recommend it. It's an interesting movie for sure. Very thought provoking.